unfortunately, with the results for us of the ALCS and the NLCS, of course, the LA Dodgers defeating the New York Mets in 6 games in a weird series that really none of the games were close. And then in the ALCS, the complete opposite of that, where fans like you and I and everybody else in the world thinks that instead of the Yankees defeating Cleveland in 5 games, the Guardians could have been up at least 3-2, heading back to New York for what would have been Game 6 last night and potentially a Game 7 tonight.
Man, this was heart wrenching, especially being down. What was it? 2-6 at one point, and then bringing it all the way back to 5-6 to tie game.
Yeah.
Just typical Cleveland fashion, getting the hopes up of every Cleveland fan around the world and just ripping the heart out. Even game 5, close game again. Had him down last inning. Clase, I'm speaking directly to you here. Brandon, have you seen Rookie of the Year?
I have not. No.
You have not seen that movie. Anyone who's seen that movie knows he's pitching like Chet Stepman out there. He wasn't even hitting 100 with his fastball. He looked so confused. He looked awful. He looked out of place. Did he not?
From my evaluation, it looked like to me he couldn't throw the slider for a strike. So he turned into a one-pitch pitcher. To his credit, in Game 5, he did bounce back. And Jalen, I've said this all along, and I get why Vogue made the move, and I get why, and it's not just Vogue, because every manager makes this move, and every manager pays the same price for it. I am not a believer in bringing in a closer. I don't care what situation you're in. I don't care if it's a tie game. I don't care if you're down. Unless it's your last bullet, I don't like bringing in the closer when it's a tie game or it's not the 9th inning. I like bringing in that closer in a save situation because for whatever reason, how many times did we see with Mariano Rivera, Aroldis Chapman, some of the famous closers in our day? How many times did we see them enter a tie game or a situation where they're entering the 8th inning for a 4-out save or something that they're not used to, and they blow it?
We've seen that countless times. And I also want to tip my hat to Vogue there because he proved to a lot of big dogs that he belongs here in Cleveland. And I think he earned the respect of a lot of fans, especially after the gut punch that I'm not even going to say Tino anymore. Terry Francona pulled the big gut punch. Vogue, that's my guy, and I'm ready to rock with him as much as I was ready to rock with Terry Francona. But man, just a couple more bats and we're good. We're okay.
I don't even know about that. I think it's more of if, let's say Shane Bieber doesn't get hurt, right? Or, I don't know what the situation is going to be with McKenzie going forward. I know Bieber's a free agent, but for all intents and purposes, I'm penciling him back in with his Guardians team next year. Both sides have already made it clear that they want to get the deal done. I would be shocked, put it to you that way, if Bieber is not back wearing a Guardians uniform next season. To me, again, we talked about this going into the playoffs, how young this team was, but this was a roster that, you could make a few moves, but most of the roster is set. They do need to get another starter in there somewhere. I do think Boyd, if they can bring him back, if they can bring Bieber back to go along with Bybee, and Bybee then slides back to that number 2 and not that ace role, you probably would have to find maybe a 5th starter. Though if Cobb didn't get hurt, Cobb pitched well when we traded for him, at the deadline. He just only had 3 starts because of the multiple injuries. So for me, it was unfortunate because we were so close. and these Yankees fans and Juan Soto and Gene Carlos Stanton, they're taunting like they own Cleveland and they're so good and yada yada yada. Like if Brian Rocchio, and I'm not going to kill the kid because he's a young kid, but seriously, he made two errors, and those errors probably cost the Guardians a chance at the World Series. Let's be real.
I agree. And you're right. He is just a kid. Rocchio, I love you. I would love to see you back. You played well. You just made two critical mistakes, and I know for a kid that young, he's gonna sleep on it, and it's gonna hurt for a while. But listen, everybody played a hand in killing us in that series, and you know that. Everybody.
Yeah, and can I say this from pitch one, game one? When Bybee struggled and Castillo came in, you could just tell these guys are so young, and they realized they had to play perfect against the Yankees. And I think that pressure, and the first time being in a championship series, for most of the guys outside of Jose Ramirez, I think the pressure just got to him, and we see that all the time for young team in sports.
I'm going to flip this into a positive, though. I'm going to flip this into a positive. You said it yourself, young guys. These are young. The glass ceiling, so to speak, is so high for some of these guys that I'm excited. I love the Guards. I love the Indians, whatever you want to call them. Those are my guys, and we went to war with the Yankees, and damn it, we should be in Game 7 tonight, if you ask me.
I think the only question about Cleveland, I've heard some rumors floating out there. I'm sure you have as well. What do you think about the possibility of them moving on from Naylor?
He's gained so much weight. He's starting to look like Zion Williamson, if you ask me. But yeah, please. Get him out of here. That's the one I want gone, like for sure gone. His equivalent to me was Isaac Cora last year when I came on the Year Show. And
that's unfair. Naylor had a really good year. He's an emotional guy. I get it. They could probably upgrade, but you're acting like he's trash. He's not trash.
He's not, but he's not what we need right now. We cannot have the bases loaded. What? 2 times against the Yankees and walk away with nothing.
Well,
and
also, I mean, you could put as much blame of that to me on Jose Ramirez. He did not have a great series.
Oh yeah, no, he played awful too. Our guy, that's our guy. He's showing up. He was over for the longest time. Didn't show up to what, Game 4? Well,
yeah. Outside of Game 1 against Detroit, which that was a great series. And again, credit to Detroit. I thought they were sort of a year away. They battled, and now obviously, we transition here to Yankees Dodgers just quickly. Jalen, any thoughts on the NLCS? Dodgers Mets, Dodgers in 6.
If we can hang with the Yankees, the Yankees don't stand a chance against the Dodgers. Shohei's going yard. It's going to be a murder scene, if you ask me. I got Dodgers in 5, and a gentleman's sweep, as they call it. I got Dodgers in 5.
Okay, so let's transition now to our World Series pick. So you have Dodgers in 5. I said it before the playoffs. It was my initial prediction that the Guardians and Yankees would meet in the ALCS, and I did pick the Yankees to win that series. Again, objectively, I thought the Yankees were probably the better team. Subjectively, I wanted Cleveland to win. I thought Cleveland had a good chance. And now it is 2017, 2020, 2022, and 2024. Cleveland has been eliminated by the Yankees. It's just absolutely gut-wrenching. From the Dodgers' perspective, though, Jalen, before the postseason started, I had predicted actually their first-round opponent, San Diego, to come out of the National League. I thought that was probably the Dodgers' best challenge. I mean, San Diego was the hottest team in baseball coming into the postseason. The Mets had a nice run, but also, like, how many times were the Mets down to their final strike, even in the Milwaukee series? So I look at this, and here's my thing. I think the Dodgers are obviously deeper, But the Dodgers can also go on some stretches where they can't hit and they can't pitch. They have not been in close games really outside of the 2-0 win they had against San Diego in Game 5 the entire postseason. I mean, the Mets series, they either blew them out or they got worn out. The Yankees, on the other hand, they went to 10 games against the Guards in Game 3, went to 10 games against the Guards in Game 5, went down to the bottom against the Guards in Game 4. I think that will help them. And I also think for the Yankees, and I said this during the Cleveland series, you watch them, they don't know how to manufacture runs. But if they get guys on base, which Torres has obviously been a great leadoff guy, they got Rizzo back now, Judge, Stanton, Soto, they can knock the ball out of the ballpark. I think the question is going to be, can the Dodgers score enough runs, and can they survive the blast that the Yankees are going to produce? I don't know. To be honest with you, it sort of felt like the Yankees year all year. I got the Yankees in 6.
Can I just address something too about the Yankees? Now, listen. All respect to the Yankees, but I hate Soto more than anything. And I can't stand Aaron Judge. I can't stand those three guys. Your Giancarlo Stanton, your Soto, your Judge, and the Yankees fans in Cleveland. Oh, how it hurts me to see. I cannot stand Aaron Judge. And we did a pretty good job containing him, did we not?
I mean, outside of the couple homers, I think that's the only hits he had in the series. He might have had one base hit in Game 5. I don't recall.
I think he had one. But besides those back-to-back blasts, which, correct me if I'm wrong, were off the hand of Class A, right?
They were.
Yeah. Class A, what are you doing? You need to figure your life out there. But I might be biased, but I really want the Dodgers to just spank the Yankees. But if you're a Yankees fan and you came to my ballpark, please don't come back. You're not welcome.
I'll be honest. I know the national media is obsessed and they're so happy, and this is going to be such a great World Series. I think Jeff Passan from ESPN made a great point. I think it was yesterday on the Pat McAfee show, where he basically said that this World Series is going to be a barometer to see if Major League Baseball has actually grown. We've heard all this talk about viewership is up, attendance is up with the pitch clock and the bases and the pace of play. Well, let's see it. You got Ohtani, you got Mookie Betts, you got Aaron Judge, you got Garrett Cole, you got Walker Buehler. Yeah, I mean, name them. This is a star-studded, series of the two biggest markets in the sport.
These are also the two most hated markets in the sport.
They are. And that's why, to me, it's going to be very interesting for the first time since the early 80s, Yankees-Dodgers meet up in the World Series. I'll be honest with you, it's the Cleveland bias in me, and I'll be the first one to say it. I could give two rips. I don't even know if I'm going to watch most of this series because it's going to hurt. And I at this point, I just want baseball to go into the rear view mirror and we focus on other sports here.
I agree.